Welcome back to Unified Reality, the podcast where we talk about tech, innovation, entrepreneurship, and all kinds of cool AI. On today's episode, we have my good friend Reynaldo Mendoza from Yellow Seats Podcast. We will be talking about innovation in digital marketing. Hello, my friend. How are you?
What's up?
What's up? What's up?
Thanks for having me. That's nice. I like this little invitation.
Of course, man. We had to invite you. You invited me to your podcast. I've been following you for, I think, 3-4 years now. It's been a while.
Likewise, I've always been, like I mentioned to you guys, I've always been impressed with what you guys doing, always ahead of the curve.
Thank you. So we'll be showing some of that B-roll. You did come to our studio. You got scanned. That was cool. You did an episode. You even did an episode with the Vision Pro. That was cool. The Matrix, right?
Yeah.
What do you think about all that? First, what do you think of the Vision Pro? Do you think it's the future?
I like the experience. The first thing, like, I just put them on and just diving into the forest, for example. That was something that I could feel is going to be a thing later on. For people that come back from work, put the Vision Pro on, lay on the couch, have like a drink, a beer, whatever, just lay back, go into the forest or whatever like universe you want to be in. People are going to be immersed. I find like that it gave that, but at the same time I was thinking about, damn, that's going to create some kind of chaos around
what's going to happen.
Social life.
Yeah, like social life. Are we going to just socialize in there, or are we going to be antisocial? Who knows what's going to happen? One thing that I want to mention is on our show, Unified Reality, this is what we like to discuss, right? Is this going to change humans? Do we want to be humans, right? Do we want to become robots? We believe that, URL plus IRL should become unified, not separate. Because now it feels like the digital life is like sucking us in. We're letting go of the physical. We're like forgetting life and going into the digital. But I think we have to pull back and use the digital to make real life better. So that's a bit what we talk about on the show. So I'm already going ahead of myself. But before all of that, I want you to introduce yourself to the audience. I met you through Yellow Seat Podcast. And I know you have your own marketing agency, RM Strategy.
Yes.
You're a vetted strategist. So tell us about it, how you got started and what is it that you do?
My main title would be lead generation expert. I've been doing it for nearly 14 years now, that I've started marketing. And that has been my skill to basically bring potential clients to a business and convert them into new sales. So that was, how do you do it? This is where we get into all the ways you have to be innovative or creative in order to, find ways to exactly bring the client, the potential client to a business. So you have to get creative, and that's where it starts. So like the podcast has just been one of them direction that I'm trying.
Okay, so I'd like to ask you a bit more about how it all got started. So you said 14 years ago. So you started with content marketing, I guess, or creating content or a search engine optimization. What was your first campaign, let's say?
The first campaign was email marketing.
That's great. Was it like a newsletter or more like just sending emails with specials to create leads, basically?
I'll tell you the story. I was working for I wouldn't call it a startup. It already had 7 years. It has like this they created this platform called Virtual Paper. It's a flip through, like the magazine, the virtual flip.
Yeah.
So it would be, like try to sell the platform to businesses. So Yellow Pages to sell to newspapers, sell it to businesses that have flyers and things like that. And at one point, I needed to find leads. And back then it was like SEO, like Google was really at the Penguin version, the one that you could just stuff your website with keywords and it would rank. Didn't matter,
good old days.
Yeah, exactly. The white page with the white font keywords, boom, that you don't see, but they're just there. Yeah. That got turned down real quick when they did discover that, this is not what we want to offer. But that was when I started. The email marketing started by I had a competitor, and I was like, hey, I went to his website and he's showcasing all of his clients. I'm like, what? like you're showing all your success stories from clients. So maybe I did a list one by one. I collected maybe 130 names
from his website,
from the competitor. And I know I've received few phone calls from people looking for a solution that we have that brand didn't have. So me, by default, I was like, all right, let me get every business name, put it on a list. Let me find who should I speak to, who are their emails. And I just created this mass email. Back then, you didn't have like really that spam. You just sent it to whoever you want cold.
Yeah. That's interesting. So you actually looked at your business, then looked at some competitors, identified what you had better than the competitor, and then approached their clientele because they put it out there and sold them, upsold them something. That's great, man. That's a good story. And so that was like, and then from there, you got interested in just doing this, basically.
Exactly, because after that, the next step is how can I do this more efficiently, better, and how does it work? So you go into the market, so email, then SEO, then I did, I was doing some content, but back then content was more blogging.
Blogging, yep. Posts,
social media too. Social media was still like, how do we do it? Whatever, like social media management, you post a picture, whatever, and you just tag, try to get followers. And that was like, mind you, it was back 2011, 2012, something like that. And and after that, advertising. Google is starting Google Ads. So let me see what's Google Ads. So I started with Google Ads, stuffing keywords, ads, and that's where I started. Like eventually I was like, you know what? I had this dead end job that I didn't like it. They fired me. And the next day I opened up RM Strategy, and that was in 2016. Although RM Strategy already was boiling in my mind in 2015. I had the business card. 2016, that's where I started. I have never gone back.
That's great. So fast forward to today, all the way from, sending emails, not spams, to today. What is it that runs marketing digital-wise, right, today? What's the most common type of, I was about to say it, but what is it that you do the most to get leads?
All right. Back when, let's say, Google was starting, social media was starting, a lot of marketers back then, the encouragement was towards doing organic SEO. Like, all right, the more you optimize your website, the more organic leads are going to get clients' visits. And eventually came in paid ads, so Facebook ads, Google ads. So all these paid platform started doing their own ads platform, advertisement, and it was an evolution, because as opposed to organic and paid, you paid and you get results like 20 right now. SEO, you have to work on it, and it takes time. It's a seed. SEO, you're practically planting a seed and watering it, giving it sun, giving love, giving attention, and then eventually grows, and then it just create fruits, and you just pick out the low-hanging fruits.
Definitely. So for the crowd, you have like SEO, which is search engine optimization. Then you have SEM, which is search engine marketing. So these two are mostly tied to search, which is Google mostly. But the M1, that's SEM marketing, is the one where you pay. Most times, you pay for a campaign. And the SEO one is the optimization, where you have to optimize your website. But now it's not just your website, like you were saying, right? It's not just a keyword. It's, the picture. What's the alt text for the picture? How much text do you have? How many H1s, H2, H3? And then, they added video. Do you have content? And I don't know if you've noticed recently in the last 3 years, your optimization has to include other social medias, and then they look at the other social medias too, of how much are they ranking. So when I type any brand now on Google, the first thing that should come up if you're doing your job is your website. If you're advertising, so first your ad for your website, then it should be probably IG, Facebook, TikTok. If it's not in that order, or maybe TikTok's before or after, but if it's not like that, your optimization is not right. Am I correct? Is this...
All right. That, what you just described, if you have it going on like that, you're maximizing almost, I would say, all of your channels. There's other channels that you can push, are you doing them or not? But in the digital world, you're touching everywhere. And this is where omnipresence comes.
Okay, so tell us about omnipresence, and also tell us how it's like how the influencers also get in there, like the big part, which is content marketing, and also maybe you could tie it back to why is it that you created Yellow Seat podcast, right?
Yeah, you'll see all the links connecting themselves once you start understanding really where you have to go as a marketer. So right back then, so as I was mentioning, I was doing paid ads. So now what's next? I came to realize, and this is pandemic. Pandemic made me realize that paid ads is getting too expensive. And clients didn't have the same funds. Like if I'm paying $5,000 last year, I was getting X amount of leads. For the same amount, I'm getting like times 3 less than leads. So what do? We have to do things differently because everyone is going to the ad space. So we have to go back to organic. How do you do organic marketing in the time that we are? Content. And omnipresence out of all that is exactly you mentioned. So I'm available in the ads. You have a message going through the ads. If you search for me, if you ask my name in any platforms, I'm there. And if you look at videos, things like that, I pop up too. Like if your friends are connected to you or whatever, there's going to be some relation to be. So omnipresence is going to be you having a presence everywhere in every type of platform. As much as going to be your website, it's going to be your advertising. It's going to be on your social media. But if you want to push the thing at the same time, you might have a billboard outside in the physical world. You might have pamphlet. You might have business cards. There's a omnipresence now that you'll see that I'm realizing that when you put the content and in the virtual world, and now you put it in the physical world, you get like a crazy omnipresence. That this is where further down the line, let's say, where the influencer become really a key component, really what its responsibility is once you have you're reaching some omnipresence. And Yellow Seat Podcast, it's Yellow Seat Podcast, it was a test. It's just me testing a new channel. The same way I was testing email, the same way I was testing SEO, bunch of other things back then. The podcast is just this new form of content that you can deliver quickly enough. And if you have a lot of, somewhat knowledge, common sense or whatever, you have a voice, then maybe you could become relevant too. So I said, fuck it. Let me give it a try because early pandemic, I need to find new clients. And one thing about marketing that I learned, people are going to buy you. People are going to buy trust and authenticity. So if you're able as a brand to deliver both of those things, people are going to buy you. And it doesn't matter if you're the most expensive or maybe your quality is a bit inferior than the other one. But if they like really how you are, who your value are, what your brand is, people are going to buy you over those things those other variables. So one thing I realized about that, podcast is the form that you can be the most authentic because you will make mistakes. You'll stumble on words. Some of your point of view might not go along with everyone else. You'll see the flaw of the person. So this is, if I'm listening to you and I see your flaws and I still like you, this is authenticity. Yeah. Because I accept who you are and you willing to give me exactly who you are, but I still like you. And once you reach authenticity at that level, you get trust. Like, oh, well, you talking. I see you working with that brand. Like, if that's a brand that makes you feel who you are, and I like who you are as a person, then let me assimilate to that brand. So this comes, the black box. Like, all right, can you match a brand to an audience only because people buy who you are, the influencer behind it. So podcast is like, all right, let me give it a try. Let's see if I'm able to sell myself. I always had this idea of building a personal branding, which I was doing it early before pre-pandemic, but post-pandemic it was like, fuck it. Let me see if I can sell a brand, which is RM, the RM experience. That's my social media you'll see. And by default, 4 years later, okay, the brand is selling itself.
It's good.
So now I'm creating a blueprint on how to sell a brand, how to connect to people, and how to, become relevant. That if you speak something, if you engage with something, if you assimilate with something or someone, then it's going to create communities, and people are just going to move along with it. We're in a period right now, post-pandemic, we're in a period right now that everything is tribal. People want their group. I need to belong somewhere. And there's going to be some road individuals out there that just have different type of way that people don't relate to. But on the other side, there's these people that, I want to relate to that. I want to be part of that. There's something going on. There's a movement, community. There's a tribe.
Yeah, your vibe attracts your tribe.
And right now, if you want to talk about successful marketing in 2024, 2025, is you need to have a tribe.
Yeah, you need a community, basically. You have to build communities, and you have to... So as marketers, it's very important to understand community and to build communities. And even if it's a small community, a niche community is actually better, right? Because having a huge community that doesn't really follow everything is kind of useless because, let's say, an example, right? You have 1 million followers on YouTube today. When you post a video and you publish it, not everyone is going to get the notification right off the bat, right? Maybe 30% of them get it.
Yeah.
From there, the 30% that get it don't all click on it. So you have maybe 18% that actually see what you created for them. Now, wouldn't it be smarter to just serve those 18% if you had the chance to? If you're a big brand, it doesn't matter. You want everyone.
Yeah.
But when you're smaller and you're starting up, it's actually better to just have that niche and say, hey, let me talk to these people exactly about what they want to do, what I want, the whole conversation. It could be anything. There's a point that you were talking about. At some point, you said that during the pandemic, paid ads weren't doing... not that they weren't doing as well, but I understood that they were more expensive. Is that the case?
Exactly.
Have you seen this over the years that it's getting more and more expensive?
Today, I would say something different. But yeah, from 2020 to 2020, let's say 3, even until now, 2024, let's say even more specifically, from 2020 to 2023, I've seen a rise of... cost per leads increasing by times 3.
Times 3?
Times 3 was a good average from different industries that I've made. Really, I crunched all my numbers. That's a lot. After searching down, really, how do you get times 3? Like, if I used to pay, let's say, $20 leads, why is it $60 now? And so you start searching, analyzing a bunch of things, and you see the same pattern over in different industries. Some industry, maybe times 2. But in average, I've noticed the times 3. So you start investigating, and really, because once you investigate really where the issue is, maybe this is where you can work on. And it came down the line that the cost per click was just times 3, the price.
So the platforms basically just, because they knew, right? They know what's going on. They have the algorithms. They have all the data. They could tell us exactly what is going on. So when I stopped doing SEO and SEM is because of that. I had a big account, and one of these platforms just literally stole the account from us. And then, we talked to lawyers. They said, no, you signed this big ass contract. It says that we could take the client. Then they took the client. They gave 10% discount to the client. The fee that our agency was charging them, they did it for free. They're like, oh, we have employees. They'll do it for you.
I see.
At the office.
I know those cases.
So it's a bit frustrating when you work for them and you're, basically because creators and agencies and strategy and marketing all work for the broadcasters at the end, right? And it used to be TV and radio, so it was very controlled. Then the internet opened it up, and while the TV guys were just wondering what was happening, like, hey, let's take some pictures, the 2 biggest, agencies got created in the world, right? Facebook, Meta, and Alphabet, Google. And, Google is the biggest search engine, and then YouTube is also the biggest search engine. How do you cope with that, basically? So you said it, right? So now the costs went up, and now it's back to the basics where it's organic. And organic in today's world, or I'd say for the last 10 years, has been to create content.
It's been social media, so exactly. It's a weird turn of event because organic was how this whole thing, this digital marketing started. and we moved to ads because people want results now. And now I'm like, I came to realize when I saw X3, like the cost was like, all right, I need solutions. So let me go back to the basics. Organic, once again, how can we do it in a fast, efficient, relevant way? Podcast. And podcast, quickly enough, was able to generate communities. And as you generate your community and your relevancy, then this is where you can attract brands. And now it's a complete new way, still with the same idea on, let's say, advertising, doing it organically, but now with our tools that we have now, like podcasts, it's becoming stronger and stronger as a channel.
Okay, let me ask you a question. So we said that it's 3x, right? It's more expensive to buy ads. Now, did you figure out, and let's say when you buy an ad, you do have a lead, right? You know that, okay, for $60, I'm going to get a lead. Now, with content, is it the same price? Is it more expensive, or is it cheaper? Maybe at first you were like, hey, it's going to be cheaper, but is it more expensive finally, or is it cheaper and it gives you better results?
You see, even if it's the same price, even if it's more expensive, it doesn't matter, because the trust that you're going to get from the community to the brand organically is another different level than paid ads.
Yes.
Paid ads, because you popped up where I need it right now. I need this right now. Doesn't mean I'm going to be loyal to you as a consumer, as opposed to organically, when you have these communities, you have this community and you bring in a brand inside of it. The loyalty level is going to be way more valuable than just trying to get. So even if you pay the same price, even if it costs, and I'm convinced, I haven't crunched the numbers, but I'm convinced still organically the cost per lead is cheaper. But even if it's the same price, even if it's more, there's that component of trust that you're getting right off the bat.
Yeah, I totally agree.
That's priceless.
So let's say that it was the same price as an example, right? I think actually no, it's cheaper if you're smart and you know how to do it. It's cheaper. And it gives you more value in terms of, like you said, trust. So that connection that you get with the client, which, let's say, in most cases, before we used to call it, like, you remember, the client satisfaction and all that. But also on top of that, that content is for life, right? It stays there. Tomorrow someone could watch it. Next year someone could watch it. And 5 years someone could watch it. But your ad, it's gone. Once they've clicked on it, they paid for it, it's gone. We call this, so our CTO, Rich, co-founder, he coined this a few years ago in a meeting where we were just freestyling. He's like, but that is clickbait. It's the clickbait economy. Then he said, no, it's the clickbait content economy. Then we was like, okay, what do you mean, Rich? Well, essentially, there's a banner, and it's there for you to click on it. We all hate this now. Then what? Then there's content that became like this too. Like, okay, it's not a banner anymore. It's some guy. He's like, I'll teach you how to do this. And then you watch it and you're like, that's not what the title did not match what you were saying.
Yeah.
And this. And so what about that, right? What about like the clickbait content, meaning that you have to be real with your content, right? So like you were saying, the podcast is where you create that trust, and you have flaws and you make mistakes. You explained it before, and I was just trying to bring it back to say that, that clickbait stuff doesn't work.
But clickbait is short-term gains, but you don't have the long-term. Like, if you're going to do this thing, you have to think about long-term. Really, nobody wants to hustle like every single week to try to get a new client. I'd rather, let's say, build, 1,000 solid clients recurrently for years.
Well, retention, right?
Exactly.
If you don't have retention, you're doing everything wrong.
So this clickbait approach, fine, you'll get paid now if you want, but it's not gonna last.
Okay, now I'm gonna do a segue to influencers, and we want to talk about influencers, but clickbait kind of is being pushed by some of the influencers now, and it's not their fault, right? So.
I have something to say about that.
Yeah, I want you to say. So I'll say my piece and I'll ask you a question. Basically, you're a marketing guy. I'm a marketing guy too from back then. We're kind of doing the same stuff back then too. I shifted towards VR and AR and all that stuff. But Putting a banner, it's not fun, right? And people click on it. Nobody clicks on banners anymore. Okay, we kind of know that. So now it became content, right? So now this video, this vertical video or this short video or this long format video, you can put a title that's going to be clickbait and make people click on it. Now, who's to blame for this, right? Is it the behavior that's being pushed from the platform, or is it the influencer that's pushing this type of platform, or is it just us? We're just dumb and we like dumb stuff. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I would say all of the above, but let's say, where's the source? It's hard to say. I would have the tendency to say the platform is a source because they control the algorithm.
I agree.
But the guys that program the algorithm, they do it based on how the human behavior is now. And now human behavior crave dopamine and they have a short attention span. So the algorithm is going to be written in regards to those factors on the human. And at the end, the influencer is just just following really what I tell you to do.
That's exactly it.
So the influencer kind of isn't leading nothing. However, I want to share this because it's very, when we talk about influencer and really who could shift maybe like different behavior. Kendrick Lamar with this track to Drake, the one that he mentioned, the Chinese Toronto restaurant.
Yeah.
He just said one punchline and he flooded the restaurant with demand.
That's interesting.
So that's someone that has the power maybe to shift aside from, let's say, go beyond the algorithm, because he didn't say that. Kendrick Lamar never expected that the restaurant would get that much recognition. No one could expect these things, but this is, you see, human behavior. Human behavior is just like, oh, Kendrick Lamar said go there, I go there.
It's pretty easy to understand. Well, I mean, no, I'm simplifying it. It's complex stuff, human behavior, right? The influencer is the influenced, if you ask me. How is the influencer influenced? So the platform has certain ways of doing. Now, these algorithms, like you were saying, yes, engineers, like I'm an engineer, I could do that. I have algorithms on some of my platforms. Engineers create these platforms with goals, right? And our goal is not you. Well, it depends who the company is, but these platforms, my goals are good. Mine is educational, elevate people, empower people. But some platforms, most of the platforms, because they have shareholders and it's just like that, and they're kind of stuck in a way that they can't really change. I'll explain what I mean. Their goal with their algorithm is to get the most retention, the most of your time, so that they can serve you the most ads. It's really that simple. So if we think that, shorter videos are going to work, we put that in our algos, but we keep changing the algos.
Yeah.
The algos are different every day. Today it's short, tomorrow it's medium, after it's long, then it's back, it's per region, it's per person, it's per IP. It's different for each person currently. The algos are so far ahead that we don't treat, it doesn't treat each person the same way. You and me, we're not going to get the same feed, right? But what's the same is that the goal is to keep us there the longest as possible, to show us the most ads or content possible. Now, even when we're creating content for these platforms, right, we're like, okay, let's not do SEM, let's not do marketing, let's not pay them, let's create content. We're still working for them.
Of course.
Either this way we're giving them money, or on the other way we're like, well, it's a UGC platform, I'm the user, I'm the one creating the content, user-generated content. So what are they really doing? Well, their job is to have these algos, right?
No, exactly.
And the algos decides what you're going to see, when you're going to see it, how long you're going to see it. And what does that do to the influencer? He tries to understand, the influencer tries to understand what's going on. Well, because I like making money by creating content, so I want to get more views so I could get more money. All right. well, this platform says that if I create short content like this, I'm going to get more views. So I change my behavior. So the influencer is actually the influenced, right?
It is.
You get what I mean?
The influencer is at the bottom of the...
But then the influencer influences the users at home, right? So there's a kid at home that looks at the influencer, and the influencer has been influenced by the platform, and the platform has been influenced by what? By shareholders that want profit. So all of this game is for profit. And so don't think that your behavior is like the behavior that you have on social media is to give you freedom or to give you education or to make it social. It's none of those things.
Like
it's about profit.
Like there's a quote that I read, or I don't even know where I got, but it's super nice. Let's say Netflix, for example. Do you know who's Netflix's biggest competitor?
In the digital space?
What's their biggest competitor of Netflix?
Of Netflix. It's probably something that I won't think of, right? So let me...
Exactly. We think alike, so you have to think outside the box.
Yeah, I have to think outside the box. So I want to hear
I know you want to guess.
Yeah, I want to guess it, but I could guess this other one. I was at this conference for hacking and stuff, and Ashley Madison, you know this, it's old. And the guy said, you know who our biggest competitor is? Like this. As like, he's like, the Bible. I was like, what? He's like, yeah.
It's that same thinking you need to have.
Go ahead, tell us.
Sleep.
Wow. Wow. It's like, I don't want you to sleep. I want you to watch.
And you know what brand is clever? I tried to do some research to see what the hell is going on. Cheetos.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Joe, they have in a lot of Netflix show, series, movie, there's going to be a clear Cheeto bag appearing.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I'm like,
branded entertainment is huge. Like, so
it's clever what they're doing because they're owning one. But the only brand does that on Netflix.
Well, they're probably paying a lot of money too.
Oh yes, they are.
Did you know that the first TV show in the United States was a branded content? I don't know if it was for Chevrolet or one of the cars. So they put a car and they did a musical around it. That was the first TV show. So TV's born like this. Without the brands paying, TV wouldn't exist. TV is to sell is to sell, sell products.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you have to fill it up. You need people to stay there so you could advertise to them. And so then they started with the news. Like, okay, at these specific hours we have news. And then, let's do programming. And all the way to, where it was high quality, then it went low quality, then high quality, then reality TV, then the writers don't want to write. And so all of this did that every time we change, like it gets dumber.
But it's a technology. When you think about it as a technology, because let's say back then ads were presented in between shows. So it would be a 30-second ad in between a show. So like for a 30-minute show, you had maybe like 4 ads. And when you think about it, the only reason why ad appear in between is because is where I can maximize the presence of my brand through people available with the technology that we have. So you cannot advance the programming. You cannot go back. This is where like the other box came in, but you were stuck to that.
You had to watch it.
You had to watch it. And so that's what technology was available. Today technology is that it's so quick.
Yeah.
It's the quickest way of form. So the attention was different. Over there people took time, to watch things.
Yeah, people would
because
sit,
the technology forces me. There's no technology that could allow me to accelerate to maybe like, I want to skip this ad. Like,
and before that there was radio, and then before that there was theaters, and before that, like it didn't start like, it's been a while, in order for capitalism to work, in order for this thing to turn, you need marketing. It doesn't work without marketing. So, and marketing is what? Repeating stuff to people. So in human psychology, if you repeat something to someone enough times, they will believe you. Right? Yeah. So it's as simple as that. You don't need to break your head. It's just repeat stuff, repeat.
But you see,
it's visual, it's audio, it's all the senses, right? It's not just one. all the senses.
But this is where brand awareness comes. And the more you repeat a brand to, let's say, a community, eventually the community would engage with it. And that's something that I've realized on when you're a creator and working with a brand and you have a community, how to work. The best way is that the thing is that sometimes you have to educate brands that, this is not, it's not because I show you one time and that's it, there's going to be a result. It's a relationship you're building. You need to build authenticity and trust. Come back to it again. So when you have established time, authenticity and trust, the engagement and the conversion begins. And so that's why like all the deals that I promote, that I work with brands is that to promote maybe a long-term relationship, because the short-term bullshit I don't believe in is a clickbait. Yeah, maybe you can have, if you...
It looks good,
yeah,
but
exactly.
then it dies off.
And that's one thing I want to warn too for everyone that's working in the space and the influencer, because now we could talk about AI. AI is coming in the field.
We're going to get into it.
Yeah. I know I'm going to get ahead, but I felt like eventually this point has to come because AI is coming. You posted some certain things about, I think it was you or you probably definitely saw it, but is AI has created this influencer, and this influencer has a bunch of followers, legit followers, humans that just follow it, maybe like bots, but who cares? It's just, but that AI is able to sell a product and no one it's not a human.
It's crazy.
And so eventually the big question is like, influencer, what are you going to do? Like, are you scared of AI? Because AI is coming for your job right now. And what creators are going to survive, let's say, this transition? The most authentic one.
Yeah, that's definitely it. So I had a good friend from Dulcedo yesterday, the founder, Karim, and we talked about this too. I even asked him a few questions like, is it even possible because we've seen this, and I'm not for this, I'm against, OnlyFans, but is it possible for someone that was young, that fell into OnlyFans and that was a content creator to become a real creator now? And the outcome was authenticity. The only way you could do that is to let go of that, say who you are, no worries at all, is to let go of that, say who you are, and then create content, and it's going to take time.
I believe that, yes, it's possible for, let's say, a OnlyFans creator to have a legit, to make a transition that's something that's not sexual nudity or anything like that, and to keep on. I actually know one of them that actually has a story behind her. Yeah, she's doing the OF because she has the potential to do it and have some success to it. But at the same time, I see her storyline is somewhat evolved into someone else after that. And I find that she has a good crowd also following her around. So this is when you have a creator that, that has built something where there's a lot of moral questioning. Is it something you should do or not? But this is a business, so...
But other than the moral part, right, that I understand very well, but just technical brand stuff, right? Your crowd on OF, I don't want to be dirty or anything, is paying to see you naked, right? If you come on YouTube, like we don't have naked stuff. First of all, there's no naked stuff, but like I'm not gonna follow you because you have. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
You have to bring me content. Like now you have to become a real content creator and bring value to the table. When I'm watching you, you got to give me value.
All right.
On OF, the value is that I see you naked. So like I feel it's really hard to do that transition. It's like if you're starting over, I feel like.
It's hard. It's not impossible. And let's say some cases that we can see now, but I think that our generation, because all this technology, all this thing is brand new, so it's normal that we don't have the answer to know if someone can make that transition from, let's say, porn to more...
well, we've seen a few from like porn stars that became actresses.
Maybe like Pamela Anderson.
Yeah, exactly.
But she was known for her breasts. So.
Or even Kim Kardashian.
Yeah, you see, that's the case. But it's not another one, let's say, in this more creators world, that's OF. Adam22, for example. He has his own.
I don't know him. Who's he?
Adam22.
Do I look stupid?
Not at all. But he's a bit controversial. He's a podcaster. Well, it's not even. The thing was a biker.
Oh, and his girlfriend is an OF? Okay,
yeah,
I know that story. Yeah.
So he has a podcast. So he creates content on YouTube. But he has other platforms where he's on OF doing porn at the same time. And there's still a community that, because he's delivering something else that's aside from the porn, delivering some content.
But there's value there, right?
Yeah, he has like a really a natural entertainment, whether you agree with him or not.
Yeah, so that to me is value. Talking about other platforms, let's not forget this. Patreon, how is that working out? Like, do you use that stuff a lot? Or is that more something for just the creators to think of? Like, in the marketing side of it, is there any link to Patreon?
I'm not doing it as for myself. I don't have a paywall certain content. However, I do have colleagues that have the paywall. And one thing that I've seen statistically, but this is like really some rough stats, is that it's always 10%. Always 10%, let's say, your follower are going to actually pay. And this is applicable to any platform that has a paying service. Let's say if you give out, let's say Canva. Canva gives out the free version. People use it. It has a lot of features. But for $20 extra, you have more the pro version. So what is that $20 who are paying? It's usually 10%. The average. So I would say that in your follower and you have a Patreon, 10% are going to follow you along with that. And that's maybe like the 10% exactly that you should put a lot of focus towards.
Remember that niche I was saying before.
You make more money with with quality.
So quantity. We're at Uverse with Unified Reality. Well, I'm taking it from Patreon's founder, but I like the term superfan. Right? So the superfan, what are they? It's those 10% that really follow you every year. They buy your merch, they'll subscribe, they'll do this, they'll do that, all of it.
I guess, yes, I would classify as having, let's say, the followers, the superfan, yeah. And even above that, there's an ambassador.
Ambassador, yeah.
The one that will even do shit for free.
Yeah. He'll pay to see you. To see you. He'll come to your show. He'll fly to go to another city, to go to your event. And so I feel like this is kind of, if we're talking to brands, right? They need to know this stuff, and this is what they need to work on.
As a brand, if you look at this scale, let's say it's an easy scale: follower, superfan, and ambassador. You want to create as many ambassadors as possible. That would be your goal. But if even you have a pool, if even you reach that the margin of 10% super fan out of, let's say, your whole community, you're already winning. You're already, let's say, in the average. Now, if you can push that to 20, 30%, now this is where you become. This is where influencers become really maybe sometimes more than the brand, and this is where it gets tricky, because an influencer easily, let's say, break a brand.
Definitely, man. We've seen it. We've seen it a bunch of times. You know, like 10, 12 years ago, I was watching PewDiePie, and Rich, like, we were in the office, we were just watching some stuff. It just played, and then Rich said, you know, this guy has more subscribers than, like, all of the TV networks combined. And we're like, hey, there was an intern, like, you want to do the report on that? They counted some stuff, and, like, an hour later, it's like, dude, PewDiePie has like 4 times more subscribers than all of the TV medias in the world combined. And that's when I realized, I said, like, and he's in his basement, you know, he's not even dressed. He doesn't even have a set. Well, that back then, right? I don't think he still doesn't have a set.
Now is Mr. Beast.
Yeah, Mr. Beast. But you see the difference in value too. Like, you see that why Mr. Beast has 3 times more followers. Because PewDiePie started as a game reviewer, and he was in his basement. So did Mr. Beast. But then Beast took it further away. You saw his first videos where he would go in the street and give like $1,000. Yeah. Like, when I saw those first videos, I was like, is this really going to work? Yeah. He went for that short format, fast, and giving stuff to people, where it creates it's like dopamine times 50. So you get everything at the same time. Like, have you watched like his last videos? Like, if you watch it, it's like you just smoke crack or something. It's like, okay, today we're doing this, like, okay, and the fast cuts. It doesn't waste any time. Right to the point. Like, this is professional stuff. No, exactly. This is that's expert at it.
Where Mr. Beast has become even more innovative. because eventually, like, you reach a cap. But when he decided to incorporate languages,
Oh, yeah, that he killed it.
this is so now you're just getting other people with languages, and that's something we can talk about that I've spoken many times on my podcast being a French podcast. At first, I wanted to do it because my territory is French, so I have to appeal to my community, the people that I will have a direct contact with. I discover, like, and a lot of people say, "Oh, do it in English because states, the rest of
The planet.
the world, whatever." But eventually, I came to discover that French is a niche, but it's a valuable niche because it has approximately 380 million users of French. And I saw some of my clips blow up because eventually we're in Quebec, so we're limited to a certain amount of people we can only reach. So if you reach approximately above 300,000, you're starting to
Go outside of
exactly to go to France, to Belgium, to Africa, to the islands and things like that. And this is why I discovered, oh shit! So if your brand become big enough and you're able to big communities, the French language, as a valuable it has this exclusive niche of people that think the same but differently.
different language.
But in the other areas that right now it's in constant development, so I find that there was value to it as opposed to continuing or doing things in English.
Definitely.
Because I was like, damn, because when I saw my videos reach Africa, like a big, like the video has like 4.9 million, so one of the biggest videos that I have. And if you look at only 20% from that 4.9 is here, local, the rest of the world.
What was the video about?
You see, this is some type of clickbait shit, but it's about it's an OF.
Exactly. It's the actress explaining.
Yeah,
her story.
exactly.
Well, it's informative, right? So I guess there was value there.
It was
Now, what about if you were to do it in other languages? Like, did you ever think of like Latin America?
for sure. Latin America, it's a big market too. We're talking about 500 million people at least. So that's a big market, and that's why if you look at Latin American, Latin artists, for example, they have big numbers on their YouTube.
Huge,
only
man.
because let's say even if you do music in Costa Rica, for example, and it's a good beat, it reaches the whole
It's crazy.
Latin America.
It's 500 million, right?
At
It's
least,
more than the North America. Well, if I remove Mexico, let's say, like English, let's say we have America, United States, and Canada. It's more, right? It's way more than that.
Way more. So it's a huge market. And one thing too, a lot of even on my way here, I was having a conversation about this. Why this event, this festival, Fuego Fuego, is so successful is because one thing about Latinos is that we're very festive. We love to party. We love to have fun. We love to dance, and it's always oriented towards the
music, man,
ambience. So if you target this market, you deliver this, forget about it. Like, you're just going to kill numbers.
So is that still going on, Fuego Fuego? Like,
yeah, it's this weekend, actually.
Oh, yeah. Well, shout out to them. Is it still the same people that are doing it? Because I heard that they went bankrupt or something.
No, it didn't go bankrupt. Actually, there was two festivals that were created by the same guy, Olivier Primo. Metro. There was a hip-hop version. Didn't make it. I guess sales weren't there.
Okay, so that's the one that got shut down.
That's the one that got shut down. And Fuego Fuego,
it's still there?
The Fuego Fuego, he even said it in one of my interviews. He said, this is the first event in my career that I'm making money right off the bat. Why? He said, I don't know what's wrong with Latinos, but you guys, these motherfuckers love me.
Yeah. You know Von J, Eddie Von J?
Yeah, exactly. He came a few times to have conversations with us.
That's what, I remember he used to do a lot of big parties.
He's one of the OGs.
OGs, like he filled up the Olympic Stadium.
Yeah.
That was crazy. That was crazy, man. That was some crazy stuff.
So yeah, languages is where we went.
So are you into that stuff? Like right now, when you're doing a strategy for a brand, do you tell them you have to do it in 2 languages for Quebec, or you're just doing French, or you're just doing English?
I mean, Quebec, obviously you have to do this bilingually. Like, but at the same time, at the end, is like, what's your budget? So
right,
if your budget only allows 1 language, so let's focus 1 language.
Yeah.
Or if your predominant clientele is French, so we're going to do it French. So
have you ever had like a brand say, I don't even want to do French?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had that.
Quite a few.
Like from outside, usually they'll say it's too small for us to market. We're not even we don't want to translate everything for that. All right.
I've done Chinese ones.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
And this was for a brand from here.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
It was pajamas.
So you had to hire like a copywriter specifically?
Yeah,
or did
there
you
was
use
someone.
AI.
No, back then shit. Well, you see, that's the thing. AI is coming, guys. Coming for your job.
All right, so we're gonna jump into that real quick, and we're getting towards the end of the episode. But I want to ask you a few questions about immersive and experiential. Like you know that we're into immersive, so VR, AR, and experiential. We try to create experiences at locations, right? So many companies do this. Unfortunately, events are not doing it as much. They will be doing it. If not, they will disappear. So what do you think about like immersive marketing?
It's definitely coming. The same way I described to you the Vision Pro, how you just get immersed into this forest of calmness after work, hectic day. You just go there, relax. But imagine you just see like some of the future that I already see or discussion that have been made. It's about, let's say, advertising like in these metaverse world. So let's say if you know like this, for example, I think we even had discussion once, but you have this world, and in this world lives Elon Musk, for example. So as an advertiser, you want to be where Elon Musk is, for example, this world. So you're going to just try to purchase the virtual real estate around where he is. If he chooses to be in one place because that's his world, everyone comes to his world, then it becomes like really a benefit for you as a brand to advertise around there. What do you advertise? When you put a banner, electronic virtual banner that's going to be closed, perhaps. One thing about we had mentioned, we discussed this once, the Domino's effect, where there's a virtual Domino's stand. You order online there while you're connected, and you get in real life the pizza delivered to you. So it's going to be this mix, but the marketing is going to be exactly like I saw when we did the scan. Is that it looks so realistic. It looked like GTA characters, but just the closing, it was like, this is going to be automatic. That's an advertisement. Put a brand in your shirt.
It's kind of a trick question because we kind of don't have a set definition for immersive, right? All of us in the industry have different definition for immersive. So it's like a trick question, really. But really what I think is going to happen is, I don't know, headsets, this. I do know, but I'm not even getting into it. What I do know for sure is that the internet is going from 2D to 3D.
100%.
This is 100% for sure. Now, are you ready for that? And what does that mean for content? Now, not just the format, but engagement, like you were saying. You said that if you were to wear the headset at home after work, you just let go of everything, right? You're immersed in it. To me, that's very high engagement because now you just let go of everything and you're just there. Mm-hmm. So you're engaging with that at 100%, whatever it is. If it's entertaining, if it's sleeping, meditating, whatever it is, you're 100% engaging with that. So for us, we know that VR is the most engaging, but not everyone has a VR headset. Now, what's right after it? Most people would say video. It's not. There's one in between. It's called augmented reality on the phone, right? Mobile AR. It is the most engaging form of content available today. I'll give you a simple example. Makeup filters on Instagram get used 6 to 12 times more than just video features.
That's definitely an opportunity for makeup brands to show their lineup.
Yes.
Like for example, one thing that's coming to my mind is for example AR. There's going to be these kind of maybe applications or these apps in AR or even VR that you can have access to for free. However, there's going to be a brand that's going to just pass in front of you, but before your eyes. And it's funny because I think I saw a movie where the guy paid the room very cheap, but inside there was a big screen advertisement.
Yeah, it's like you get advertising, or like you get the whack model of the headset.
Well, exactly. Or you get like just a permanent brand.
It's
just
like it's
in
just
the corner
there.
of
You're like, man, what is that? So yeah, interesting talks, man. So we believe that everything is going towards experiential, so experiencing stuff. So content has to kind of shift a little bit, and we think it's going to be with 3D and AR, right? Especially for stuff that are no-brainers, right? So e-commerce, right? Let's say you want to promote a chair. You're selling a chair, you promote the chair, you create content for the chair, but then you also have the chair in 3D that you could look at. And then you could also place the chair in your living room and see what it looks like. And then make a video of the chair in your living room, send it to your girlfriend and say, do you like the chair? Mm-hmm. Right? So that is already happening. We're just not, it's so seamless that we're not seeing it yet with the makeup stuff, filters, right? Selfie filters. But as soon as we start turning the camera to the other side and start placing objects and it's seamless, it's gonna all shift, and it's coming. It's on its way.
One thing you mentioned, experimental marketing. It's not as much out there, but for example, Disney is somewhat getting there. There was this event that I went to with my kid, and it's like this big room, and the four walls are just projected with images, but at the same time, like. They have in the middle of the room, they have maybe like these 3 tubes that just created some kind of weather. So if it's raining in the movie, then you feel
cool.
some sprinkler.
They were like immersing you
exactly
into the
experimental, like you really, because I find this is going to be the leap to really getting fully immersed is when you can stimulate other senses
for sure.
Aside from just hearing and seeing. Mm-hmm. To me, one senses that I discovered lately that I practice a lot is dumb, but it's so powerful. It's aromatic
smells
marketing.
Yes, yeah, for sure. Shout out to my good friend Audrey Bernard from Déjà Vu Simulation. She does this for like 10 years now. She could arouse a feeling from you from a smell, and usually it's not what you would think. Like, hey, I want to smell that's gonna like arouse a feeling of trust and calmness. And she's like, grass. I'm like, yeah. Then they put it, and I'm like, yeah, I actually feel good. It's like green grass, right? Like in a farm, or like specific smells. And she has like big clients, Walmart and stuff, and they have like specific smells for aisles.
But even further, going back to the forest, imagine exactly you smell.
Yeah,
you go in and you smell.
But be even before that, right? Just the visual already, your brain is tricked. Then the audio, spatial audio. Yeah. Second one is tricked. Then yes, we want to do all the senses. But before we even talk about the personal one where you're enclosed with tech, why don't we just use tech that already exists, like your phone, and make an event better, right? When was the last time you went to an event and you actually used your phone, not for social media, but your phone to actually do an experience at the event, with the event, part of the event?
Have I? I believe I have. I find that hotels might do this with tourists.
Yes. So those are good, but they're functionalities, like to check into your room, to pay.
No, furthermore, resorts.
Oh, the rewards.
No. Furthermore,
tell me.
In resorts, for example, it doesn't involve a cell phone, but the idea is that you'll have the silent DJ. So you have a headphones and you have, let's say, 3 DJs.
Yes.
You choose and everyone's just dancing.
That's really,
and you have the color.
It's a good example.
So that would be where you just take the technology.
That's really good. That's exactly what we mean by unified reality, right? How can we take a piece of tech that in some way it's a headphone, right? It looks like, hey, that you can't party either. You're alone. You're listening to your music by yourself. No. We could use tech to like create channels, and we could all be listening to the same music, and we're all dancing, and we're not bothering the other people, and we could have different music. That's genius, right? That's unified reality. That's what it's about. All right, so I know we could talk for days, man. We could talk for days, but I want to just ask you, do we have 2 more segments? And I really think this is important. So we talked about immersive, obviously, that cool stuff, virtual Probably soon there's going to be virtual, virtual YouTubers telling us what to do, how to act, what to eat. It's already there. But let's jump into entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
Right. I want to know what are the most difficult things that you had to face when you were starting RM Experience. Also for the podcast, like
easy credibility. Credibility is what's going to make the difference between whether you fail or success. Because I can save money, but money, everyone has that issue regardless. Even Apple has money issue. That's why they keep innovating and they want to keep selling more. So let's not talk about money as being an issue for entrepreneur. It's clear. Credibility becomes the one that I found that was the hardest, the longest, and the toughest one. First is that when you begin entrepreneurship, one thing that you might have a skill, in my case, marketing, so I'm able to, help you find clients. However, I don't have the credibility yet. So in order to get credibility, I need to show proof of what I've completed in a successful way that I can duplicate it to you. So you do one project, it works, it's a cute result. You do another one, it fails. So and time moves along. So credibility takes time to build, and credibility goes along with a reputation at the same time. So entrepreneurship is about consistency, discipline, and at the same time only being perseverant to reaching that goal. Once you've crossed the line to, your work speak for itself without you having to sell yourself, this is where you can start charging more. This is where it becomes a bit simpler. This is where it becomes maybe innovative too, because you know what? I've accomplished the first 5 years of struggle, of trying to prove to everyone that I'm good at this, I'm able to do it. Now this is what it costs. I'm going to be very selective with who I'm going to work with. And now we're going to do this new thing that you guys aren't even doing it yet, because I want to innovate into my business. I don't want to just be the same stale individual that's, all right, I've reached a good stability. Let's keep it that way. For myself, I want to keep growing. I always want the next thing.
That's great and good advice. I just saw like a meme this morning, and it was like, don't do this. It was like, learn, and then work. And so usually it's what? Learn, work. Well, not usually. What you should do is learn, work. It's funner. It's better. You grow. You're just a better person because you keep learning. And not just learning like how to crunch numbers, right? Everything else that goes with it. Life, right? Life is a big lesson. It was really good to have you, man. And it's really good, interesting talk. So I have 2 more little things to ask you. And this is like some tips I want you to give from all your experience creating content. Mm-hmm. Like for an aspiring content creator, right? Someone that wants to be a content creator, but also eventually a digital strategist like you. What would be one advice that you would give them to do like right now or to constantly do?
For someone that wants to begin doing it as a content creator, is I find that anyone can become a content creator. So some of them are going to be more authentic than other ones, but with the tough competition of everyone wanting to do it, one way you're gonna have to set yourself apart could involve maybe you investing into yourself. Investing to yourself would be your best tool. And by what I mean by investing to yourself is that you might have to invest into your marketing, having, let's say, the proper tools for you to elevate yourself to the next level, have maybe the right gear. I don't mean maybe like an expensive camera, but if you want to go more than just an iPhone screen camera, then maybe you could get something else, invest into it. Invest into people around you. Invest into a team. Let's say someone paying that are skilled that you don't master or you don't want to do. That would be an investment that will get you quicker as a content creator. Invest into your knowledge too. Getting to invest into, let's say, courses or things that are going to bring new knowledge, that's going to make your craft more perfect. That would be one that I would suggest. Another investment that I can also suggest is invest into your environment. I just had recently I had a guest on my podcast, and one thing that I've noticed about him, as you know, we're getting to know each other as years went by. He just said it. He broke it down during this episode. For his past 5 years, just been investing into buying the most expensive conference ticket, and that's true. I remember you went to go see Patrick Bet-David, and he paid a 10K to go see him for like 3 days. That's a big investment. But now that he speaks about it, what it has brought to him today is that now he's surrounded to people that's 1 degree away from Patrick Bet-David. To him, is someone that he's look up to. So invest into your environment will make a big difference. And I totally agree with that point. Let's say for him investing into, let's say, the big ticket to go see a big idol. If that ticket is $5,000, you know what? Take it. Because you don't know what you're going to be surrounded with other people paying $5,000 while everyone is trying to get it for $50. Who's going to set themselves apart? The one that has 5Ks. And that's true. One of my philosophy always been regarding fitness and gym. I will always go to the gym, to the most expensive gym around me, because the serious people, the people that go there to work out, to take care of themselves, and that makes money, you'll find them the expensive gym, and not the one that's like $10 that's overcrowded and with beginners.
Totally agree with that. Totally agree. Some very good, wise words. So invest in yourself, invest in your surrounding, and when you do something, be strategic. Like if you're going to go to the gym, like you just said, it's not because you want to show everyone that you're spending more money. No, it's because that gym has the right people that I want to connect to. I want to also add something to what you were saying before. You've said it a few times that we need to, be authentic, right? I want to tell everyone, right? Being authentic is a good thing. It's really good, and it makes you stronger. You know what? If you're a fake person and you lie, right? Don't think that everyone's going to like you. You're still going to have half of the people not liking you. So might as well, if half of the people are not going to like you, might as well be yourself. Just be authentic. Say what you think. Say who you are. Be a real person. Show your values. And people will like you.
Don't follow the crowd. That's
they say dead fish, go with the stream.
Exactly, because too many people nowadays follow the crowd and just to be part, once again, the tribe.
Yes.
I mentioned that people are lonely, so they need to join a tribe. And this one, let's say someone's pushing a message that, hey, you know what? I don't totally agree with it, but there's a tribe, a couple of people that I like, so let me go along with that one. And you get lost into yourself. This is hypocrisy, and the authenticity is no longer there.
Yes.
And the most authentic people that you'll see around tend to be in a social and a creative form, the people that actually don't care really what you think about them.
Yeah.
They're the one who actually really respect really how they believe on their belief, their opinions. And funny enough is even if you go against the narrative, there's going to be a crowd there that's going to come along.
Oh, for sure. Well, I'm not a big fan, but Alex Jones has a lot of followers, and he goes against the narrative, but that's something else that we'll talk about in another episode. The narrative, sometimes it has its self-opposing as well, right? Any narrative has to have its own self-opposition.
Exactly.
So that you could control the narrative even better. So that's some other deep stuff, but Maslow, right? The hierarchy, our needs, right? Humans need to connect. And when we connect, what do we judge people on? Well, what they're saying. First, what they look like, how they act, and what they're saying.
Exactly.
And what they're saying it's like the most powerful thing, right? Words are very powerful. Obviously, if I punch you, it's also powerful, but words are very powerful. You could look at me and maybe judge me at first, but then when I talk, you're like, oh, okay, cool. We there's a connection. This person's real, that person's real. Okay, cool. Great, man. I love the convo, man.
Likewise.
You're going to have to come back again, and we're going to talk about more influencers in the future, especially the ones that are doing augmented reality.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
All right, guys. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
See you soon. Thank you,
go, guys.
Reynaldo.